That's all right. We've got a little show to do, and you know what? Let's just get started. No intro today, because I'm a little pressed for time. What is it? It's Tuesday, March 9th, so that's how we're going to do it. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Today's Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. I am Dan Benjamin. You can follow me anywhere you want at Dan Benjamin right here on YouTube. You can follow me on the Periscope. You can follow me on Twitter. Instagram is the best place these days. And while you're here on the YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. It's very important. It doesn't just help my ego. It more importantly helps YouTube know that you're here, that you're watching. And if you ring the little bell, it lets you know when I go live, especially with Periscope going bye-bye in a couple days. Yeah, it's going to be gone. And this is going to be the only place I think that you're going to be able to tune in. So. Okay, also, yeah, patreon.com/Dan Benjamin. So few of you support the show, and shame on you. Should be ashamed of yourself, but I still love you. I still love you all. So we've got some news for you today. Let's just start right off with the COVID section of the show, because that's what the news is
in need
about.
Of medical attention.
Yes, I need to be able to hear that a little bit, so put that there. The latest on coronavirus and vaccines is here. The U.S. airline industry is kind of pushing back on CDC's latest guidance, saying that only fully vaccinated people, that they should still avoid travel. What do you think of that? Hey, Ollie B in the chat room, how are you doing? So basically, the new statement came out. The industry group Airlines for America insists being on board a plane poses a low risk of coronavirus infection because of heavily filtered air and federally mandated mask wearing. Quote, "We remain confident that this layered approach significantly reduces risk," the group said. But the CDC had just said that those who are vaccinated can meet with others. Those who are vaccinated and even low-risk people who aren't vaccinated, but they should still avoid travel. Quote, "Every time there is a surge in travel, we have a surge in cases in this country," said CDC Director, you know who it's going to be, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, during Monday's White House coronavirus report briefing. So the airline industry says, nah, come on and travel. And the CDC says, nah, don't. So who are you going to believe? Remember yesterday when we talked about the Oprah Winfrey interview with Meghan Markle and all of that stuff and Harry on there? Well, there's been some really cool stuff that came out of this. You get a whole bunch of people analyzing Harry's body language and Meghan's body language, which, you know, I'm into the whole body language thing and learning about that. That's very cool. But that's not what I'm here to tell you about. Basically, Buckingham Palace has come out with a whole bunch of different quotes and statements and responses, some from the Queen and things like that. But basically, the big statement that came out on behalf of the Queen, especially regarding the allegations of racism, talking about what Archie's skin color might be like, the big shocking statement. Here's the quote. "The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately, if I can read. Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much loved family members." So that's a non-statement, in my opinion. But if you read the subtlety of that, the one line where it says, "Some recollections may vary," what that's saying is, that's not what went down. I don't remember it like that. That never happened. That's a really nice way of saying that never happened. So you remember Jacob Chansley, right? The self-styled QAnon shaman. How am I supposed to say that? This guy, if those of you are watching at home, I'm talking about the guy who had the Viking hat and all the tattoos and ran around with the megaphone. Basically, a federal judge ruled Monday that the man who is called the QAnon shaman must remain in jail pending his trial for his role in the January 6th siege. They're calling it a siege of the U.S. Capitol because they think he remains a threat to the public. Judge Royce Lamberth said in his order rejecting Jacob Chansley's request for releasing that no condition or combination of conditions would ensure his return to court if he were released. I don't think that he's a threat. I think he's just going to take off and they'll never find him. Defendant characterizes himself as a peaceful person who was welcomed into the Capitol building on January 6th by police officers, Lamberth wrote in the court order. The court finds none of his many attempts to manipulate the evidence and minimize the seriousness of his actions persuasive. So, yeah, that's what he said. He said that he felt that he was welcomed by police officers. Hey, Andy. Thanks for some of these links, Andy. I'll get you that spreadsheet soon. Remember when I told you that Microsoft thought that it had found that quantum particle breakthrough? Remember that? I told you about that? They didn't find anything. You're getting the toilet flush, guys. You didn't find anything. They thought that they had found this subatomic particle that was going to like change everything, but now it says mistakes were made. The journal Nature, and I just let my subscription expire, has published a retraction, and the paper's authors have apologized for insufficient scientific rigor. So basically, this is talking about quantum computing. So in classic computers, and the kind of computers that are on our desks right now, or in our phones, etc., you basically have the concept of something called a bit, right? It's a 0 or a 1, a yes or a no, a positive or a negative. In a quantum system, you have something called a quantum bit, or I think they're just called qubits. They can be both at the same time. So they can be a yes and a no, a 0 and a 1 at the same time. Don't get too caught up in Schrodinger's cat. It'll confuse you and make you feel sad. But what this means is that this opens the door for multiple calculations to be computed simultaneously. That's what the potential of quantum computing is not just fast, but almost instantaneous computing of very, very challenging problems. Very challenging problems. But it's really hard to build one of these things. They've been struggling to make not just to build one, but to build one that's competitive with the regular computer. Whenever we get this breakthrough where we can do this kind of thing and build these kind of computers reliably, that is going to be a very big deal, and it will change computing and science as we know it. And that's actually what could lead to the big AI stuff and the singularity and all the stuff that people like Hawking were afraid of, and everything else. So, you know, this is one of those things that I talk about here on the show because I don't want a giant computer controlling the world. Did you know that some sea slugs can grow new bodies after decapitation? This is a photo of a decapitated sea slug. And according to some new studies that were done, scientists have discovered that some Japanese sea slugs can grow whole new bodies if their heads are cut off. And this is usually they've animal kingdom can do this with like a leg or a tail or something like that. Not always a whole body. These things can grow whole new bodies. This came out of Tokyo, and talk about Wolverine style regeneration. They're calling it, this was reported in a biology journal on Monday. And I think, was it Nature? Was that the journal? They're not saying here what it was, but biology researcher Sayaka Mito says she loves studying Japanese sea slugs because they are small, cute, and weird, and they can even briefly photosynthesize like a plant, drawing food from the sun. So here's a little video. I haven't vetted this video yet. Sorry about that, friends. Let's turn this down. Oh, so look, there's the decapitated head still marching along. And that's its body, I guess, that it's touching, and the body's reacting to it being touched. That's kind of gross. And so they did this study, but here's the interesting part. They cut off the heads of 16 different sea slugs, and 6 of them started regeneration, and 3 succeeded and survived, and one of the 3 even lost and regrew its body twice. And this was 2 different species of Japanese sea slugs that did this. But it's weird because there are not a lot of examples of this in the animal kingdom for them to study. And it seems like prior to this, they didn't even know that sea slugs could do it. Yusa said, "We think that this is the most extreme case of autotomy. Autotomy? Sorry, I'm not a scientist. Some animals can autotomize their legs or appendages or tails, but no other animal sheds their whole body. Scientists have thought such a relatively large animal, one of the sea slug species, it can grow up to 6 inches or 15 centimeters, for those of you in the UK, couldn't survive without a heart to pump blood and nutrients to the brain, but it can. Isn't that weird? And they can also photosynthesize, like I said. So these are kind of cool animals. All right. So check this out. It says, if Elon Musk makes it to Mars, then what? And it talks about the two big hurdles that await us as human beings wishing to live on Mars. Really what it comes down to is, okay, so we've already found that there's a large source of liquid water. It's about a mile beneath the Martian solar south polar cap. It is a 12.3 mile wide lake that they think contains briny water that's rich in magnesium, calcium, and sodium perchlorate. Sorry, you don't want to confuse those two things. Which keeps it in a liquid state and temperatures of about minus 73 degrees Celsius or 200 degrees Kelvin. Can I get a Fahrenheit conversion, please? Somebody in the chat room tell me what 200 Kelvin is in Fahrenheit, because I don't do Celsius. The reason why this discovery is important is simple, because where there is water, there's life, or at least that's how it works here on the Earth. So including Musk, he's hoping that the water could be used for human consumption, but scientists are saying, not necessarily, because we shouldn't send humans to live on Mars until we know whether its water contains life or not, because we could bring molecules and stuff from Earth that could be mistaken for Martian life. Or if there is already Martian life there, we could expose it to microbes from Earth and kill it. Or maybe it would mutate, or maybe it would be the next coronavirus, who knows? But they're basically saying, like, if there's life there, we can't interfere with it, the prime directive. I want to tell you about our sponsor. It's meh.com, meh.com. But when you go there, go to meh.com/Dan. That will give me a little bit of the profits. And since nobody is donating to Patreon, patreon.com/Dan Benjamin, you might as well go to meh.com/Dan and buy something there. I'll get a little kickback and you'll get something really cool. They have something different every single day. And at midnight, it flips over to the next thing, and then that's a whole new thing until the next midnight or until they sell out. So go there and go check it out. Right now, they've got something that is some kind of kangaroo home security motion sensor. You get a pack of 4 for $20, and on Amazon, it usually sells for $60. That's what they do. They sell stuff at a super, super discount, and it's there while it lasts, and when it's gone, it ain't coming back. Check this out. Surprising. So every night, I'm going to get a little personal with you. Every night I have to eat a snack. If I don't eat the snack, I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning starving. I don't know why. But
Oh, it looks good on you though.
Thank you. Maybe it's because I train a lot and I row a lot and hit the heavy bag a lot. I don't know what it is, but if I don't eat a snack at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, and the thing is, I don't snack. I don't want to have a snack. I'm not interested in having a snack. Do you see any snacks on this desk? There's no snacks here. I don't snack. I'm not a snacker. When I'm watching TV or something, I don't snack. I don't do this. I don't do this thing. It's just not me. You can do it. It's great. Good for you.
I don't stop nothing, you idiot.
I'm happy for you, but I have to have this snack, whether I feel like it or not. So my snack is usually, I get one of these like Greek yogurts or some kind of yogurt. And then like a banana, I'll put like almond butter on it because I don't eat peanut butter. Okay, but listen to this. There's a website called Eat This. Thanks, Andy. Surprising side effects of eating bananas. So it says that you're going to get, especially if you have it with a scoop of peanut butter, you get a ton of potassium, which is really good because here's the thing. A lot of people worry about eating sodium because the sodium salt is apparently not the best thing for you, right? But instead of eating less sodium, you can eat more potassium because they like cancel each. I'm not a doctor. Okay? Like I'm not a doctor. But this is what I read. I read it, so it must be true. So you have sodium offset by the potassium in a banana. So eat a banana. But you can also get that from white potatoes, which have double the amount. But who wants to eat that? Bananas transform from starch into sugar. So it can help your blood sugar. You digest it really well. For people with diabetes, this is really good carbs for them to have. So that's good. Now, but here's the thing. If you eat a green banana, okay, don't eat too many of those because it'll slow things down, if you know what I mean. But if you want to slow things down, It's a good natural way to do it. You're also going to get a lot of electrolytes, and you're going to get hydrated. They balance your blood pressure out. So you have high blood pressure because you're eating the high sodium diet. Now you're getting the potassium, it's slowing it down. You're going to feel full because it has fiber, it expands in your stomach. It's perfect food. I've always said it. It's a perfect food. Dropbox is set to acquire secure document sharing startup DocSend. DocSend, who I think competes with Right Signature. But basically, DocSend is being acquired for $165 million. What? That is a lot. And what do we have? That's the one I wanted. We're announcing that we're acquiring DocSend to help us deliver an even broader set of tools for remote work. And DocSend helps customers securely manage and share their business critical documents backed by powerful engagement analytics. Dropbox CEO Drew Houston told the author of this TechCrunch article. Did he really say that? Did he really say that, or did he give a statement? Whenever I'm interviewed, they always misquote me unless I give them a written statement. And even then, I'm always misquoted. But I don't think he actually talks like that. Do you think he talks like that? If he does, I don't ever want to meet him because that's not the way regular people should speak. And I don't get these formal official announcements. I've never been interested in that. I want to hear real people saying real things. You know what I'm talking about? Yay! Do you know what I'm talking about? Of course. Okay. Roblox is going public. What is Roblox? Well, ask any child, anyone with a child, what Roblox is. Here's a picture of it. But it's an online game, and they're planning to go public tomorrow. It's really seen a lot of uptake during the pandemic while people are at home and kids are at home more. 32.6 million people across 180 countries are playing every day. And you can go there, you can hang out with your friends, you can build stuff, there's all kinds of games that you can play. I mean, it's crazy. It's what they're describing it as Minecraft meets Nintendo, which meets Lego, and then mobile phones are somehow mixed into all of that. So the money is going to give them an opportunity to build more stuff and make more games and expand it. And people love this. I think it's weird, but for some reason, I don't think Minecraft is weird, and I don't know why that is. Did you hear about this? There's a meteorite fell on a driveway in someone's house in the United Kingdom, and here's a picture of it. And when they examined it, they said that it could provide answers about the early history of the solar system and life on Earth. It's 10.6 ounces. They collected it, and they said that it's formed from carbonaceous, that's a good word, carbonaceous chondrite, which is kind of cool. But they say that it contains organic material and amino acids, the ingredients for life. And this is how life could have started here on Earth. Pretty cool, huh? I think that's pretty cool. Apple, hold on. Don't think I'm going to forget it. Aphids. Not aphids. Apples. I'll play the aphids one for you.
They're just awful little creatures.
Okay. Apple is discontinuing the iMac Pro. Did you hear about that? Basically, people were saying, I'm trying to buy one of these and they're out of stock and they don't have a time for when they're coming back. Well, it's true. They're no longer making the iMac Pro. If you want to get one, you can still do it, but only for a limited time. It's $4,999 standard model, but only while supplies last. Once the existing inventory runs out, you can't get it. You can't get it anymore. Well, we know why. Of course, why? Because it's Apple Silicon going in them, and they want to make that for people, and they want people to buy that. So these are gone, which means we're going to have an announcement pretty soon about the new one, and we'll learn all about that. Here's a really cool and weird article. This, of course, is in my hometown of Philadelphia, Philadelphia Inquirer. This is a story of a Vietnam vet who claims to have lived in Veterans Stadium for years. Well, here's a picture of the dude. And there's Veterans Stadium. And of course, that's famous, very famous stadium. This is where the Phillies won the 1980 World Series. And the Eagles. I mean, this is a big deal in Philadelphia. But there's this guy named Tom Garvey, and he lived there. Tom Garvey lived in there. He says from 1979 to 1981, he lived in an empty concession stand inside the vet. That's what we call it, the vet, where he secretly refurbished into an apartment in his very own off-the-wall South Philly version of the Phantom of the Opera. He says, I was like a kid with a Willy Wonka golden ticket. He basically stood back behind the scenes and watched every game, but he lived in there. He lived in there. He says, I always knew this was bizarre, but when I put it together, I assembled the stories. I thought, holy God. He was 78 years old. He never took photos of the apartment. He didn't allow visitors to enter it or see it because he was afraid he would get caught. And because the vet was demolished in 2004, he can't prove anything. But I like to believe it. Okay. Phone's blowing up. A woman got an explosion in the face while she was lighting a car on fire. Andy sent me this one. I'm going to show you this video. This is apparently her boyfriend's car. So take a look at this. Hold on, get out of there. So for those of you who are just listening, she's got a little gas canister. Whoa. Okay, hold on. We're going to watch that again. She's got a gas canister. She poured some gas into the car. She's throwing in what looks like a box of matches, and the thing explodes and knocks her back in a comedic way. But my advice from this is, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't try to set someone's car on fire. It might blow up at you. So that's it. That's all I've got for you today. I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shorter show today. We did 21 minutes instead of the usual 30-some because I've got to go run a quick errand. But I appreciate you all tuning in. And, of course, you can follow me here and elsewhere at Dan Benjamin. That's right. It's easy to spell. It's easy to remember. Pretty much every social network has it. While you're here on the YouTube, like, subscribe, and see that little bell? See, that's what you want to hit. You want to hit that bell so that you're notified when I come and do one of these shows. And last but not least, support the show on Patreon. I think it's worth $1 a month, don't you? I think it is. I think it is. I think it is.
Clean to you?
So do that, and I'll be back here tomorrow. And I'm going to see what's going